and welcome back to another video on my channel. I'm Octopus, and today we're gonna take a look at the Petropavlovsk, one of the latest tier 10 ships added to the game. But first thing first, guys, as always, consider subscribing to this channel if you want to support me as video content creator. I recently opened my YouTube channel and my Twitch channel, and you know, I would appreciate very much if you can get me a sub on YouTube. It is entirely for free and it will greatly help me. So, Petropavlovsk. Today we're going to look at two different replays combined. So, as you can see here, we are in division with a Daydreamer in this specific case, and we are going to go towards the left flank. Petropavlovsk is the replacement for the Moskva, which has become a special ship. Petropavlovsk has far better concealment than Moskva. Here I'm speeding up this replay because there's nothing really interesting here. The concealment that you can reach in Petropavlovsk is 11.7 kilometers with full concealment build. Absolutely recommended. But we are going to check at the build in the at the end of this video. Gimmick of the Petropavlovsk are the AP. As you can see here, we are shooting this Nuremberg at 15.5 kilometers of distance. And if you're lucky enough with your dispersion, you can get some juicy volleys like this one. Petropavlovsk and Gimmick are the AP. The HE, on the other hand, are pretty pitiful. As you can see here, thanks to our 11.7 kilometers of concealment, we are able to actually self-radar for 300 meters, because we do have access to Soviet radar, which is 12 km of range. Even if the duration with the radar module it is only 18 seconds, which means that you can actually shoot 2 volleys only before you actually lose division of your radar. So in this case, we radared this Lefant task, but as I said, we were able to shoot at him only 2 volleys because of the short duration of our radar. The speed of the ship is 34.1 knots with speed flag, so not really impressive. We are not the fastest ship of the pack, absolutely. The turning circle radius is pretty garbage in classic Soviet characteristics. Is 990 meters, so almost 1000 meters of turning circle radius. Your armor is very special in the sense that Petropavlovsk can be extremely tanky. Can you actually see how low in the water this ship sits? It is extremely low in the water, the actual hull. Plus, you have, like Moskva and Stalingrad, you have a 50 millimeters of an icebreaker and 50 millimeters deck. So you're extremely tanky against battleships AP, as long as you are kind of close enough. From long range, you can actually get some juicy pens. I mean, you can get penetrated by battleships AP, especially on the front, because you have a big 25 millimeters of nose and stern. So at close range, in the icebreaker works perfectly. Not like Riga one. Riga on that is a terrible ship because you literally cannot tank almost anything in Riga, while in Petropavlovsk you can absolutely tank battleships from the front. Here we are switching to another replay. This specific replay, I'm playing extremely aggressive. I wouldn't recommend playing Petropavlovsk like this, but it is just a showcase of how powerful Petropavlovsk can be against. I mean, even if you are facing multiple targets. As you can see, we were previously spotted. I popped my radar to get vision of the enemy gearing, but he was leaving, so I decided to not even shoot at that guy. So we stay concealed because we are facing this thunder in front of us. As you can see, we are putting ourselves in a crossfire between this thunder and the Petropavlovsk and the Conqueror on our left. but I'm pretty sure that if I can manage my angling well enough, I should be able to actually get some kind of value out of this situation. There's also a ZAO, so we are surrounded, I mean not surrounded, but we are facing multiple targets from multiple directions. This ZAO actually knows about ZAO AP, so it forces me to angle in, and also Petropavlovsk is also shooting at me from the side. But one thing is that Petropavlovsk dispersion works kind of in the same way of Kremlin dispersion, in the sense that at long range it is supposed to have bad dispersion, while at close range Petropavlovsk has insanely good dispersion, so pinpoint accuracy almost. So I'm not too worried about the Petropavlovsk on my left, because I know that he's kind of far away, not too much but not too close to have this pinpoint accuracy. And as you can see, we are landing almost all our shells on this thunder, even if we don't have exactly the angle yet to actually deal some decent damage on him. But yeah, I'm pretty sure we are gonna get a juicy opportunity to just deal so much damage to this thunder, and this is what is just pushing me into doing this, because Petropavlovsk AP are the real gimmick of the ship. Don't even bother shooting HE unless you're shooting a destroyer, because the HE alpha is really pitiful. So just stick with AP. Usually, in most of the cases, AP is gonna be far better than HE almost in every single situation. As you can see here, we have insanely good penetration, especially at close range, and we can easily go for this bye-bye on the Thunder, and this is our 6 citadels, and goodbye Thunderer. Another cool feature of Petropavlovsk is that all 3 turrets have 360 degrees rotation, so it is extremely useful when you are actually switching targets in a close range fights. Even if you are kiting and you have targets on multiple directions to shoot at, it is extremely valuable. Here we are back to our main replay. As you can see, I'm turning back to the flank to kind of help our division mate in the Shikishima that is kind of stuck facing multiple targets. So I'm going back and trying to actually help him. Your range with your guns is kind of limited by default at 18.4 kilometers. I mean, not limited, but it is not huge. But considering that your long range dispersion is usually very questionable, I find this to be more than enough. Here we go for another almost a blind shot on the Hindenburg, but we're gonna score another citadel regardless. So in this specific case, we will see how good is Petropavlovsk at picking up single targets one by one. Of course, Petropavlovsk will struggle dealing with multiple targets at the same time, but when you have the opportunity to engage one target at a time, one single target at a time, Petropavlovsk really shines. Your playground is playing at medium range, I would say. You can get some YOLOs off, absolutely, but you don't have any torpedoes, so you can struggle against torpedo ships. For example, if a Hindenburg charges at you, you might struggle dealing with him. If the Hindenburg doesn't show you broadside, he can easily get close enough to torpedo you, and there is almost nothing that you can do. You have garbage maneuverability, so you don't have any good chances of dodging. This is why I'm keeping my distance from that Hindenburg. He's 10 kilometers away from us, and I'm not willing to push any further than this, because I know that if this Hindenburg decides to YOLO me, he might have the opportunity to actually get his YOLO off and land some torpedoes on me, which I cannot really avoid. So here I'm stopping, and I will make sure that this Hindenburg dies before he can reach the 6 km range to actually use his torpedoes, as you can see here. In the meantime, we keep our angling towards the Bismarck, because we don't want to show broadside. Yes, if you show broadside in Petropavlovsk, you have a big citadel, and that stands above the waterline. So if you give broadside in this ship, it is not that difficult to actually settle, not at all. So don't show broadside in this in the Petropavlovsk. As you can see here, while the Bismarck is turning, we are even able to citadel Bismarcks, which have a total back. But in this case, when German battleships are turning, they expose a little bit of their citadel, because it raises a little bit above the waterline, and we are even able to citadel German battleships in this thing at close range, because the penetration of this AP, it is really insane, as I just told you. So here now we are forced to actually face this Bismarck nose in. And at this point I was thinking he would have get his ram off, but luckily for us, an allied volley comes in to help us, and we are able to finish the kill. And now there is only this lion left. So as you can see, with our maneuver, we actually managed to take out all the enemy ships on this flank besides this lion, and we helped our Shikishima division mate, which was a very successful maneuver on my end at least. So Petropavlovsk excels at punishing broadsides. If you can surprise an enemy ship broadsiding you, go for it. Your AP are insane. Your dispersion at medium to close range is exceptionally good. So absolutely don't be afraid of pushing targets and closing the distance if they don't have torpedoes, because at close range you can citadel basically anything that is not a German BB. So absolutely go for it and you will be successful. The moment the enemy ships angle towards you, it is the moment you're gonna struggle, because Petropavlovsk, it is insanely powerful at punishing broadsides, but it is not that good at anything else really, because your HE DPM is really pitiful. It is nothing really great. So I like the Petropavlovsk, but I also recognize that it is not that versatile of a ship, in the sense that the moment you don't have broadside to shoot at, you feel kind of, I will not say useless, but it is, but you feel like you are lacking something, because really, as you can see, you can see the Yamato at what is that, 12 km of range. So absolutely shoot anything that gives you broadside. But as I was saying, the moment you have someone that is not a potato basically and is not showing you broadside, you're gonna struggle. So always try to get into the situation when you have broadside to shoot at, because as I said, the moment the enemy is gonna angle towards you, you are gonna be really useless, in my opinion. So in this sense, I don't think Petropavlovsk is overpowered. I mean, she's extremely good at one thing, which is punishing broadside, but she's kind of poor at anything else. So I don't see Petropavlovsk having an actual powerful role, especially in future clan battles, because as I said, it is not versatile, and plus the long range dispersion is really questionable. So Petropavlovsk is a really good ship for randoms, in my opinion, but other than that, I don't see Petropavlovsk having a real good use in competitive. Maybe I'm not sure, but from first glances of the ship, I don't think she's gonna be super useful. I mean, Stalingrad is gonna always be better. Also Moskva, because it's HE DPM and the longer radar. So Petropavlovsk, in my opinion, amazing for randoms, amazing if played in divisions as well. But other than that, I'm not sure. I'm not really sure. In this specific situation, we pushed the Yamato. We killed also the gearing. I mean, we got the gearing killed, and thanks to our incredibly good concealment, we will even be able to disengage from this Hindenburg, and we are gonna be we are gonna survive this engagement. I mean, most of other cruisers would have died here 5 times, but Petropavlovsk, thanks to its tankiness, is able to actually survive. Back to our main replay, there is a Yamato behind this island. As you can see, she's not completely full broadside, but she's exposing her weak spot in the front. So once again, As you can see, we will be able to punish this Yamato heavily because she's broadsiding us. But the moment she angles in towards us, it is the moment we are not going to be able to deal any kind of damage. As you can see, 33k, 5 cities in a single volley, but then she starts angling, and while reversing, we are not fast enough to actually keep the angle towards him. Plus, he has some support from our right side, so I have to angle towards the right side. And now that she's almost nose in towards us, we are not going to be able to deal any kind of meaningful damage to that Yamato. With AP and with HE, we are going to look at the HE alpha in port, but I can guarantee you that the HE DPM is completely underwhelming on the ship. So I don't even bother switching to HE unless I'm facing a destroyer, as I just said, because even AP overpens might be even better than HE. As you can see here, I'm trying my best to actually keep my angles towards the Kronstadt, this Yamato, and there's also a Jean Bart here. There she is. So I know this is a kind of a suicidal mission, but I was trying to do my best here to actually help my teammate and try to win this battle, but we are not going to win this battle regardless. So I don't have the screens of the end of the battle, the screenshots, and we are gonna take a look at the Petropavlovsk build, my recommended build for Petropavlovsk. So this is our Petropavlovsk. Let's start with the equipment. Here you go for Hydro instead of defensive AA. Petropavlovsk AA is decent, more than decent I would say, but still I value Hydro much more than defensive AA. Here, main armament modification 1 for to preserve your turrets. Here, if you have it, go for the surveillance radar modification 1 for more action time of your radar consumable. If you don't have this, I would say go for damage control system modification 1 for more tankiness. Here, I go for better dispersion, even if there is the option to go for this one, because Petropavlovsk turret traverse is not the best, absolutely. So I'm still making up my mind if the dispersion one is better than the turret traverse one. I'm still not sure, so you make up your mind on this one. They are both very valuable on Petropavlovsk. Here, I personally go for steering gears modification 1, and with this upgrade here I have 9.7 seconds radar shift time on my Petropavlovsk. I'm still not sure. Propulsion might be also viable, and also this one for additional tankiness might be also a good option, but this is how I find Petropavlovsk to be more valuable for me. Here, of course, concealment, because you want to make use of your exceptionally good concealment, so absolutely go for this one. Everything else is really questionable. Here I go for main battery modification 3 for more GPM. If you really want, you can go for more range, but once again, Petropavlovsk long range dispersion is really poor, so having more range, it is not gonna benefit you that much in my opinion. So main battery modification 3 is absolutely the best choice in my opinion. Captain wise, as you can see, I'm not using a 19-point captain because I'm still leveling up this captain. So my recommended build is priority target, expert marksman actually, superintendent, concealment expert, RPF, then I would say adrenaline rush. So you get 17-point captain, 1 point for expert loader, and sorry, with expert loader it is going, and adrenaline rush it is going to be 17, and last 2 points I would say jack of all trades. So why do I take RPF? Because once again, as you can see, we have 11.7 kilometers of concealment and 12 km of radar, so we are able to stealth radar, which means that as soon as we are spotted and we know that we can actually radar, and we are gonna spot the enemy destroyer that is spotting us, or the enemy stealthy cruiser. So having 37.6 seconds of turret traverse on a cruiser, it is exceptionally bad. There are, for example, Kremlin turret traverse is 30 seconds by default, so having 37.6 on a cruiser, it is extremely bad. So having RPF gives me the idea of the general direction of the enemy destroyer, so I can pre-rotate my turrets into that direction, so I have a better chance to actually shoot 2 salvos at the enemy destroyer when I radar. So in this sense, I find RPF to be very, very valuable on Petropavlovsk. Yes, if you don't want RPF, you can take fire prevention, absolutely, because you can come under a lot of HE spam. So absolutely, fire prevention is not a bad skill to have, but I find RPF to be more valuable on Petropavlovsk for this exact reason. Flag-wise, nothing really special to say here. Standard, better heal, more speed, faster reload of consumables, better AA, and here I go for also reduction in fire duration, because why not? You can even go for reduction in floodings if you really want, and detonation. Don't go for the HE fire chance, because once again, Petropavlovsk HE alpha is really, really questionable. Only 350 HE alpha. It is really, really poor, considering that you have 11.4 seconds of reload time. It is not really that great. You only pen 37 millimeters of armor, so you don't even pen US battleships deck armor, so not really any kind of value going for 37 millimeters. Sorry, for HE. Let me check Moskva HE alpha. Yeah, Moskva HE alpha is even better, slightly better, but yeah, but the gimmick is that Moskva long range dispersion is far better than Petropavlovsk one. So this is the point. You don't spam HE Petropavlovsk because you literally don't have the consistency of the guns. This is the point. So let me take a look at the armor really, really quickly. No, not here. Here, armor layout. As I was telling you, this is the icebreaker, 50 millimeters of an icebreaker, which is very useful. It prevents battleships from citadeling you from the front at medium to close range. This is the nose, 25 millimeters of nose, which can be farmed by battleships AP, absolutely. The citadel stands quite above the waterline, as you can see here. This is all citadel, okay? The citadel is this one. So it stands way above the waterline, and so don't give broadside in this thing. It is shaped in a way that as you can see here, it has a kind of a weird shape here, but I can guarantee you that you can absolutely get deleted if you give broadside in this thing. So don't give broadside, absolutely. Here you have 50 millimeters of deck armor, so it gives you some resilience against HE spam, unless you're facing Hindenburgs, Goliath, and I don't know, IFHE Henry, for example. So, but against HE, you are really, really tanky, unless they farm your nose or your stern. So, final judgment on the ship, still in progress. I mean, I didn't play the ship that much to actually make up a full idea of it, but I would say exceptionally good in randoms at punishing people that give you broadside, but in a competitive environment, still questionable if this ship is gonna have any kind of really good value or not. For randoms, absolutely recommended. So I like the ship, don't get me wrong, I like the ship, but I don't think she's too much versatile of a ship. But she's very good at what she does, which is punishing potatoes. So that said, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a thumbs up, leave a comment down below if you want. Subscribe to the channel if you didn't already. And I will leave in the description of this video the link to my Twitch and to my Discord if you want to keep in touch with me as well. And have a good rest of the day, and I'll catch you next time.